Hey guys, my name is Sandy. I'm a licensed realtor here in the Central Florida area, and I do several different videos on real estate tips, and my goal is to help to inform you as to how to get the best when it comes to real estate, how to buy a home that's best for you and your family, and how to invest in real estate that's best for you and your family. I invite you to subscribe to our channels because we're always coming out with new videos on various topics. And if there's a topic you want me to cover, just put it in the comment section and I'll definitely research and do a video on that topic. Today we're going to do a topic on how to buy a new construction home for short-term rental. Now, short-term rental has taken over the market and they don't even use the term short-term rentals anymore. They use Airbnb. That's the new thing they use, Airbnb. So how to buy a Airbnb or a short-term rental home, that's for new construction. How do you decide what location to buy it in? What are some of the things you should be looking for? You could use any home for short-term rental, but because the short-term rental market is so big in Central Florida, especially where I am, because I'm in the Disney World area, a lot of builders are building homes specifically for short-term renting. So you could have homes for short-term renting and you could have homes for long-term renting. Now, because it's built for short-term renting, of course you could still live there long-term, but in order for you to do short-term rental in Central Florida or Airbnb or HomeAway or whatever website you're going to go on, the property must be in the development that's zoned for short-term rental. So you could not just go anywhere and just buy a home and say, okay, now I'm going to do Airbnb on this property. You can't do that here. You have to make sure it's zoned for short-term rental, that the homeowners association approve short-term rental, because here in Central Florida, most of our development are are under HOA. There are very few properties here that are not under a homeowners association of some kind. So most of the homes are homeowners association. You got to make sure it's zoned that way. So how do I buy one for short-term rental? Well, the first thing is we got to make sure that the house that you're looking to buy in the new construction development, that entire development is zoned for short-term rental. So the first question you want to ask whenever you see any short-term rental, any new construction site, if your goal is to do short-term rental, you need to make sure that that particular development is zoned for short-term rental. That's your first question. The next question you want to ask is the development going to be doing some of the renting themselves, and do you need to be a part of that rental pool? What do you mean by that? There's some development like Margaritaville, for instance, that's here, or like there's not a development called, oh my gosh, I can't remember the development name. That's not good. Anyway, there are a few developments that we have here that if you buy in those developments, they have a management company that will manage the property for you and will help you to rent the property, and you could put your property in that rental pool. Now, some developments will allow you to put the property in the rental pool and still rent it by yourself. While some development, if you buy in there, you have to put the property in their rental pool and they're the only ones allowed to rent it. So that can become very sticky. So you want to make sure before you buy, you want to ask up front, do you have a management team? Am I obligated to be in that management team? Am I obligated to put my property in your rental pool? And even if I put in your rental pool and I want to rent it myself, what happens there? What are the criteria there? A lot of condo hotel, the Groove, that's the one I was trying to remember. I remembered it, yay! So there's a development here called the Groove, and they have a rental program, same thing as Margaritaville. They do have a rental program, and you're able to buy the property, new construction from them, and then you can put it in their rental pool, and they will rent it for you. And of course, they're going to take a certain commission from you when they rent it. And if you rent it yourself, they're going to take a certain commission as well. So you need to learn. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying some developments are. So you need to learn that. In Margaritaville, it's mostly single family homes, and in the Groove is mostly condos. So you have different condos, and they normally come fully furnished with everything from spoon, forks, knives, everything you would need for a guest to move into the development. They provide all that. That's part of that. They don't provide it. That's part of what you're buying. And then you could put the property in a rental pool. So you need to know that. Or do you want to go to a development where there's no restriction, you don't have to put anything in any rental pool, and you do your rental yourself? There's some developments you just purchase from the builder. If it's zoned for short-term renting, purchase it from the builder. Once the home is built, you could get your own management company, or you could manage it yourself, or you could put in their or you could rent it yourself. There's no rental pool, there's nothing. All right, you're just buying that. For some of these development, there are property management companies that will go into development and try to get as many homes as possible to manage. Because a lot of short-term rental here, the owners around here, they buy the property, they give it to the property management company who then manages it. There are people also here that will buy the property and manages it themselves. And some people actually manage it from England or Canada or even out of state. They have all these technology that they do to manage these properties. So you have to decide, do I want a management company when I buy my new construction home, or do I want to manage it myself? If I want to manage it myself, is there a restriction in that? Is the development telling me, hey, listen, if you want to have renters, they have to come through us, right? Or can I do that myself? These are some of the things that you need to find out because, as I said, in Central Florida, Disney World makes it very competitive. There's a lot of short-term rental and a lot of developments. Some developments really don't care who you rent it to, as long as they don't cause chaos and get involved with the homeowners association. Meanwhile, some development, they have a restriction on that and you can only rent it through their rental pool. And some development do have a rental pool, but you have a choice to put it in or out of it. And some other development will allow you to put it in there, but you still have the right to rent it yourself if you want to, as long as you block that time period off on your calendar. So these are all the variations. The number one thing though, if you're coming into Central Florida to buy and you want to use the property as short-term rental, it has to be zoned that way. You cannot just say, well, I'm only going to live in for 3 months and then I'm going to go back to wherever it is I live and then I'm just going to rent it out when I'm not there. It has to be zoned that way. It has to be zoned that way that you're able to do that, believe it or not. You can't just decide you're going to do that. Some developments or some HOAs will not allow for any rental under 6 months. So if the development is saying, yeah, you could rent it, but you can't have somebody in here for less than 6 months, then short-term rental could not work. Because when people do short-term rental, they're doing it for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. They're not doing it up to 6 months. They're doing it before 6 months. So if the HOA is saying, well, you can rent, but you can only rent if the tenant is going to stay for more than 6 months, that would not work. So that's very, very important. And the reason why it's so important for new construction is because if it's a resale, we already know the rules for resale. But when there's a new construction property, there's nothing pre-existing. So we have to find out what the rules will be once the development is fully built, right? That is very important. All right, let me stop here. I don't like to do long videos. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, just send us an email or call us. Our links are down below. Do subscribe to our channel because we do send different videos out all the time. We're doing new topics. And again, if you want me to explore a topic for you, just put it in the comments below and I'll do that for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.